Yo, what is up, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Nonsense Nap here today to bring you again another review of chapters, One Piece, episodes 5 through 10. No, it didn't take me this long to watch them. I do drive for work, so that is the noise you will hear in the background. The Car and Truck Chronicles continued. But yeah, man, we're gonna hop right on into it. So some feedback from the last vid. People was telling me just to essentially talk about the episodes first and then provide spoilers. So I'm gonna utilize that. I appreciate it. So essentially, with episodes 5 through 10, we leave off with Luffy, Nami, and Zoro going up against Buggy the Clown and Kabachi. That's his name, Kabachi, I believe is how you pronounce his name. So yeah, they about to go up against him and fight Buddy. So the lion tamer, or the animal tamer, comes back out and pretty much lets Buggy know, like, hey, yo, bro, Luffy has a devil fruit, okay? He's able to stretch. Now, everybody found this out previously beforehand after Mochi came back out because Luffy expanded himself into the Fazoon, the balloon. So he was able to bounce back the Buggy ball that they sent at him and essentially destroy Buggy's headquarters in that regards. Things to keep in mind. If my man's name is Mochi, the lion tamer, well, I put a pause on that. Remember Mochi. So that'd be a spoiler warning going ahead. Also, Tamer. Remember that as well too. That'll be a spoiler going ahead as well. But yeah. So, they fight Kabachi. Zoro fights Kabachi, or Kabachi, how you pronounce my man's name, because he's a swordsman. He rides on a unicycle, so obviously Zoro's going to take on all swordsmen, people with swords, using swords to fight. That's pretty much Zoro's thing. So, with that being the case, Zoro, fights him even though injured by the stab wound from Buggy early on in the episode. I believe it was on episode 4. So yeah, he's using that. Kabachi essentially exposing that injury. Zoro gets serious, puts the do-rag on, and goes to work. Pretty much ends Buddy because they keep calling him petty thieves when he's like, yo, man, we ain't no petty thieves. As he falls to the ground, we pirates. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a monumental moment there, pretty much decreeing like, yo, this is it right here. We pirates. We in here. This is the statement. So that was pretty dope. Then we pretty much get the start of Luffy versus Buggy, and Buggy versus Luffy and Co. because Nami breaks off to try to steal Buggy's treasure. So now we get more into episode 6 and 7 here, as far as the fight with them. And Luffy's holding his own. Buggy essentially messed up Luffy's treasure via, with that being the hat, the straw hat, the one that Shanks gave him. And Luffy got pissed about that. So, he starts to get a little bit more serious about things. And that's a spoiler as well. But nonetheless, Luffy perseveres, even though with the hat being kind of torn a little bit and I don't want to say bruised, but stepped on or whatever have you. Luffy essentially successfully gets the win via Nami's help, which allows Luffy to use Bazooka. Nami helps by wrapping up Buggy's appendages because Buggy, again, being the chop fruit, he's able to essentially split his body up into different pieces. So It's kind of like a Mr. Potato Head, if you will. Like, granted, he ain't putting stuff in the back of his head, but he's able to, you know, detach his arm, detach his neck, detach his head, detach his shoes, detach his legs, feet, you know, all the way down to single toes, to single digits on the fingers, you know, so he's able to do all of that. And that's pretty dope, you know, so we're seeing that. And, you know, at this early stage, as far as like different type of devil fruits and how he is with having that. And pretty much, you know, we get to this position and point to where, again, Luffy uses Bazooka to essentially get rid of Buggy, because Nami has all of his parts tied up. So Buggy gets shot off onto, well, spoiler, you know, he gets shot off into a different area, but we're not going to say what it is just yet. So, yeah, you know, so going forward, and I apologize, I'm driving, I'm trying to figure out why this person just sitting there. I'm not too sure if he can use his, what's the name or not, but we're going to see. You know, we pretty much, shoot, I'm sorry. We pretty much get to point where the mayor that got knocked out by Luffy early on, he's back, waking up now because the townsfolk essentially, you know, wake him up, see what was going on, all the commotion and whatnot, and they're able to realize, like, oh, okay, well, you know, we're gonna try to help them out. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah, you gotta try to figure out what's going on here. Can't redo it with driving. Hold on, give me the green light. Come on. There we go. So yeah, episode 7 and 8. Pretty much we get a conclusion of that whole arc. Well, not arc, but just chapter. Essentially, because we're in the East Blue arc. We get a conclusion of the fight with Buggy. He gets shot off. They take off from that island and then go to the nearby island, which is on the Grand Line map, which is where Usopp is located, which is Syrup Village. They land there only to come across a honorable liar, that via being Usopp. So Usopp is again an honorable liar kid, pretty much don't have parents, been on that island for a minute, just got used to just running around saying the pirates are coming, which keeps the villagers a little bit of alive, you know. Whoever, you know, if pirates do come, they essentially should be able to stop them with Usopp constantly yelling and stuff like that. But we get to a point in this particular story to where you got Klahadore, again, Captain Kuro, the one from Morgan. We're going to get to see his backstory a tad bit. It's a flashback as far as like why he's a servant now. To the left on I-65. Excuse me. And also, we're getting to see essentially like a different part of Usopp. Now, this is more brave Usopp, in my personal opinion, than scary Usopp, what we constantly get. Now, initially, we get someone out here when the Straw Hats arrive, essentially, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami arrive on Syrup Village. Usopp is seen shooting his slingshot at them to essentially stop them from coming further onto the island. Zoro does pick it up first. Not too sure. Again, spoiler, but that's a mention of at all on Zoro's part, because I feel like he was way more raw than what Luffy was. But could be a mention of Haki in that regards there, just slight mention of observation Haki, him being observant enough to know that Usopp was there hidden amongst them. and essentially realized that there was going to be something shot off at him, which he warned Luffy for, and Luffy was able to dodge that well enough as well too. Nami just dipped off and ran, so she didn't want no parts of it. But after they arriving, after that essentially transition as far as like talking amongst themselves, they get further into the Surf Village. They essentially, they being Luffy and company, are trying to find a better ship so that they can sail into the Grand Line, because obviously the dinghy they got on ain't gonna be enough, you know. So excuse me, they essentially go up to this castle to where Usopp is headed. Usopp is there talking to this young woman there. She's not a princess or anything like that. She's just a daughter of some individuals who had a lot of money. They were doctors. And Klahadore, again, aka Captain Kuro, was there. Essentially, he killed the mom, which inadvertently, the dad died due to heartache and pain. The girl is now left alone with Captain Kuro taking care of her. And not to say like he's doing a bad job or anything like that, but he's only there with the intent to steal her money. And essentially, the only way you can do that is by killing her. So, excuse me, he's devised this plan, and his tenure there, I believe, about 3 years, to essentially have pirates come onto the island, get her to, admittingly, like, in her will, put Klahadore's name down, so then this way he can utilize the money that her family has left to her. Kind of a smart idea, and that plan goes into the type of person Klahadore is and was as far as a pirate. And we're going to get that backstory, a flashback essentially here in the next few episodes. But what we left off was the plan being given to Django, who was a new character that got presented to the series. He's supposed to be like Michael Jackson, I guess, with moonwalking backwards. But he's a hypnotist. He can essentially hypnotize others. Not a devil fruit, just a special ability. He can hypnotize people essentially into doing this business. So pretty cool idea, pretty cool premise. You know, hopefully we'll be able to get to see if it comes out for those who don't know the story. So that's pretty much what's all there at the moment. Oh, excuse me. So Usopp has his own pirate crew. Pepper, Carrot, and Onion. 3 kids that live on the island are part of Usopp's crew. So they were there as well on the beach when the Straw Hats arrived to essentially prevent them from coming further into the village. But obviously there was a scenario, a situation that happened between them. They conversed, and that essentially allowed the Straw Hats to come further inland. When the Straw Hats got to the castle, the mansion or whatever, they were kicked out via Klahadore because of the comments he was making about Usopp's dad. And Usopp went down to the beach to essentially clear his head. Luffy followed him there, and then that's where we get the presentation from Klahadore to Django about the plan and making sure all preparations and everything are met. So essentially, Usopp can't do anything because of the position he's in. He's constantly running through the town yelling, pirates are coming. So they're not going to believe him. It's pretty much the boy who cried wolf in that regards. And Luffy is taken out in this particular predicament because the hypnotist hypnotized him essentially by making him fall asleep, which put himself to sleep, the hypnotist himself. But Luffy fell from the cliff and everybody presumes him to be dead. So we're at this particular moment in time to where Luffy potentially is dead. Usopp can't alert the villagers, and the pirates about to come storm in and kill the villagers along with the girl there. So essentially Klahadore can get her money. So that's all from 5 to 10 that I saw. The spoilers that I mentioned. So the one with Zoro You know, kind of mentioning like, you know, we're pirates setting the tone for everything and stuff like that. That's obviously to come after they make it through the Grand Line. With Mochi, Luffy fights another person that associates Mochi. His name is Katakuri. He's a Mochi user. And also Tamer, because in the arc with Wano right now that we're in the manga, there's a young woman by the name of Otama who can tame different animals by using her devil fruit. So I feel like that's a pretty cool segue as well there too. So we're seeing these early on mentions that could potentially be a reason why it got flooded back into the story, or just coincidence, you know, but that's what I've seen so far. And honestly, I didn't write it down because I'm in the truck. Forgot the last spoiler that I said. But yeah, you know, for others watching, if you know why, put down in the comments below why I even referenced that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I forgot. But nonetheless, hopefully this helps you out as far as like watching the series and going forward. Also too, with Buggy right now currently in the story, he is a Shishibukai, so he is a warlord like I mentioned in the last video. And that would mean Mochi and Kabachi are his underlings, so they're still with him. So, you know, they're fairly viewed, well, they're viewed highly. So, you know, they're highly favored in that regards. And he also has an acquisition of another character that comes later in the series, following Little Garden. So we'll see that character pop up then, and we'll be able to essentially add him into the cast with Buggy and co. But that's about it. I'm not going to touch really on the Star Hats just at the moment, besides the hockey. I think that was the other spoiler I was talking about. Just the hockey, to see if Luffy and Zoro start picking up on observation then. I think Zoro did, because he was, you know, aware of where Usopp was. So that kind of like brings that into the picture a little bit more now as well too. So, and I apologize. Way back with Romance Dawn and everything. Yeah, we had hockey earlier mentioned on in the story then with Shanks essentially scaring off the Sea King. He used hockey then, a sense of intimidation to essentially, like, you know, scare the Sea King off. So that was hockey then, and also it would make sense to why he had that hockey, because he's a Yonko. So, you know, just the level of hockey that he used just on that Sea King alone, like he could have, which it still doesn't make enough sense, because if you're a Yonko at this point, you get bit by a Sea King, like, come on, bro. You could have, come on, you know, so I don't know. I feel like that has a lot to do with the story as well, but it's just not given to us just yet. So, but yeah, you know, that's all I got. Let me know down below if you guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Leave a note down there if there's any errors and improvement on my end. But that will conclude this episode of Truck Chronicles. Okay. Always remember, this is the channel that's going to bring you content, whether it's truth or lie. Show discernment to know if it's fact, but it's always fact because it's coming from Nonsense Nat. You feel me? All right. Everybody be safe out there. Peace.